Hey, good morning, everybody. Sorry for the short delay this morning. Welcome back to part 5 of the Visitors TV series, Decodes, from 2009 to 2011. Now, today's Decode brings us to Season 2. And before we get into this part 5 Decode, I want to talk to you guys about a new concept. The concept is called timenesia. What is timenesia? Now, this is a new phrase that I'm going to coin here on the channel. It's people's inability to clearly see the timeline of events that definitively reveal precise predictive programming. The mind literally blocks the truth from being clearly seen. How does it do that? By disassociating from the presented material and reverting back to an emotional state. Timenesia. Now, what's an example of this? Well, an example would be when I show you Trump International Hotel 10 times in front of a reptilian healing center with a reptilian mothership directly overhead, with a med bed inside where people are forced vaccinated in a 2009 TV series, there should be no doubt in people's minds that the future agenda was literally playing out in fiction before their eyes. Yet, there is still a significant section of society that will reject what they're seeing before their eyes for one reason or another. Usually it's based in emotion. The devil will distract you. A lot of it has to do with ego or fear or simple disbelief. Timenesia. Now, this is going to get even more exact today. I'm going to show you Trump's attorney, Roy Cohn, named by name in the series. His last name anyway, with the exact same spelling, which is a rare spelling. Cohn. I'm going to show you The Art of War, his favorite book. This was 2009. Do not succumb to timenesia. Do not forget the timeline. Sometimes it's helpful when you're watching these decodes to write out the timeline, okay? So you write a line, a horizontal line across the page. You put in the year 2009. You write down all of the things that you're seeing in these decodes underneath 2009. And then you put another hashtag and you put 2016 when Trump was elected. Then you put another hashtag on the timeline and you put 2020, the pandemic. And you write down all those things. And that is how you clearly see the timeline and how these events being depicted in fiction back in 2009 is impossible unless they already knew the outcome. Now, some people are just saying, well, the cabal's after him. Of course, they're going to depict Trump in a bad light. But that's ignoring the fact that the entire agenda of what happened later in the timeline happened. You can't ignore that fact. Even if, okay, let me give you an example. Let's say they just made fun of Trump in the past in fiction. Okay, let's just say they showed him as a clown and his hair and all this, right? Then you might have a point. You'd be like, okay, they're just trying to bring him down because they knew he would rise to become president one day and they had to discredit him. But no, we're talking about the exact scenarios that he walked through. So the inference there is you cannot deny that he must have been part of that set of orchestrated events. So do not succumb to timenesia. Now, when watching these decodes, it's important to understand that I reject both sides of the leadership, right and left, because I believe they are both fully compromised. And that the very nature of a leader in our country, in our system, rising to the top, suggests that they are already corrupt. In other words, you do not get through the glass ceiling of control in this country without already selling out. Now, this isn't just my belief system. This is what the Bible says. If we are real Christians, we will believe the Bible at its word, that there will be no successful kingdom before Jesus' kingdom comes. These decodes are about seeing the predictive programming in hindsight in exact detail under a microscope. And it's undeniable at this point. Let's jump into part 5. Enough of the time-nesia, but I needed to state that. Now, there will be one last part to this decode. Today is part 5. Sunday will be part 6. Wait, is today? Wait. Oh, today's only Thursday. So tomorrow will be part 6. Gosh, it feels like Friday, doesn't it? Tomorrow will be part 6. I've already got that done. I already made it through the end of the series. You're not even going to believe this. The V's released a red dust into the air, and the skies start to bleed. Then Chad means Mark, walks in from the bleeding skies, holding his syringe umbrella.
Skies bleed.
And look at the tip of the umbrella. Blood red. This is the syringe injection.
Sky's bleeding. We came to pray.
Like the heel.
Then the resistance realizes that the red sky was phosphorus. Why? Why did the V's release phosphorus into the skies across the world? So that the V's could breed with humans. It's always been about that. The serpent trying to inject humanity, alter humanity with the seed of the serpent, so that there is no flesh left, so that there is nobody to go to heaven, so that God loses. All the way back to the beginning of Genesis. There shall be enmity between the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman. The bruising of the heel and the bruising of the head, or the striking of the heel and the striking of the head. The seed of the woman is Jesus. The seed of the serpent is the serpent.
Healing centers and blue energy.
Il cielo rosso doveva formare fiducia tra la nostra gente. Red sky and
Red rain are not to be feared. Just the opposite.
red sky will heal your oceans. That is why I was forced to wait until I had proof. Make fertile your barren lands and reverse global warming.
Soon the levels of phosphorus in humans will be substantial enough. Red sky is not Anna's latest gift. It is her latest weapon, and we do need you. Red sky may be gone, but its impact will endure. Why phosphorus?
The V's need phosphorus to reproduce. It forms a protective shell around our eggs. That compound is a form of phosphorus, a high concentrate only found on our home planet.
They're changing our planet. They're changing us, our bodies.
Anna dumps red rain on us, and now it's in everything. The soil, the air we breathe, the water we drink.
What if the visitors want elevated levels of phosphorus inside humans?
For breeding.
There you heard it in their own words. So the resistance is going around. They're trying to subvert the plans of the reptilians on Earth. But it's very difficult to do because the reptilians have technology and they keep, one-upping the resistance. They keep one-upping the fifth column. And in this particular instance, they're searching an apartment. The resistance is searching this apartment. And this guy pulls out a book, The Art of War. Not only does he pull out the book, The Art of War, which is Trump's favorite book, he brings it back to his apartment for no other reason than to find a clue inside. Now this is random. He wasn't expecting to find this, but inside is the name of Donald Trump's attorney, Cohn. Now his attorney is Roy Cohn. It's this guy. Where does it go here? Wait, that's not it. Here it is. This is his attorney. Now I don't know if there's a connection between The Art of War and Roy Cohn. There probably is. This might have been Roy Cohn's favorite book too. But it becomes Donald Trump's favorite book during the campaign. He started talking about this. My favorite book is The Art of War. And inside, there's Cohn's name.
Right, there's one of them. Eli Cohn owns a textile company right on the Hudson.
Are you there? We're a step ahead.
Then the camera pans to Trump International Hotel with the globe in front of it. And there's the hotel right here and the healing center in front of the two towers. Now, what are these two? These aren't the twin towers. These are two other towers. I forget the name of these buildings, but I think it's like some kind of Dutch company or something. And I think it's a financial company. But in the V series, it's the healing center. Okay. So we've got some pretty specific synchronicities here that I did not have to look hard to find. Obviously, I'm blazing through these episodes. I already binge watched the entire 2 seasons in less than a week. So these things just pop out.
And Tyler's DNA.
So then the FBI agent discovers that her son's DNA was messed with before he was even born. Tyler's DNA was stripped so that it could be filled with something else.
Looks like this. Normal DNA looks like this.
Wait, a missing piece. What does that mean?
V's wanted that space to be empty. To put something else in.
Oh, God. The visitors did that. They have been messing with Tyler since before he was born.
They messed with my son. They corrupted Tyler's DNA.
What? How do you know?
The guy who started the fight.
So then Anna, the V leader, she continues her psychological operations. How does she do it? By seeding provocateurs into situations so the media can be manipulated into reporting a false story. Here's the number one argument I get when I do anything critical of Trump. Casey, what are you talking about? They've thrown him off the ballot. He's being targeted. Don't you understand? The left hates him. And you're not helping because you're exposing all this stuff. These are all pre-programmed situations to make you have sympathy for him. And he knows it. He's in on it. That's the whole point. You know, sometimes this gets frustrating because no matter how exact you can show people the programming, like I said, timenesia, it goes right over their head. Now they tell you right here how this works. These psychological operations. Watch.
The guy who started the fight. I saw his eyes. He wasn't human. Anna must have planted him there.
Images.
So then Anna, the V leader, let me check in with you guys. Make sure you guys are with me and we'll keep going with this. This is nuts, you guys. Now wait until you see the next part. Wait until you see tomorrow's finale. Let's take a look here. All right, looks like we're good. So Anna, the V leader, goes to the Vatican because she's investigating of how she can destroy the human soul. You see, the problem that the V's have with breeding with humanity is they don't want the human emotions mixed in with it, but they realize they have to have the human emotions in order to breed. It's part of the process. And God must have worked that into us, the need to fall in love in order to reproduce. But the V's want to reproduce without the love element. So they're trying to figure out a way to strip that away from humanity because they do not want to be corrupted by the emotion and feelings because they feel like it is a weakness. So Anna, in her search to find how to strip human emotion and how to strip the soul, she goes to the Vatican to get questions from the church.
Quite disturbing. What does it represent?
The underworld. Satan, a fallen angel, is surrounded by the souls of the damned. Hell, where the unrepentant are sent upon their death. The human soul interests you.
I find it curious that you believe the soul can survive the death of the body.
It is the cornerstone of our faith, that the soul is immortal, meant for everlasting life.
So, she basically blackmails and threatens the Catholic Church to get them to basically get rid of hate speech against the visitors. In other words, the Vatican Church sends out an edict to all its parishioners that you will no longer be allowed to criticize the visitors. It will now be considered hate speech. What do you think's happening right now?
We've just received word that the College of Cardinals has voted unanimously and will issue a statement shortly condemning all anti-V rhetoric among its clergy to welcome the visitors as potential members of the church. Anna now looks forward to meeting with leaders from other major religions.
Next, you're going to hear died suddenly. Remember that?
It is not a curse, but it is in fact the greatest gift our species has ever found. Among all those that we have bred with, it is now my determination that the human soul is truly unique. We must not run from it. We must embrace it and make it part of us.
She delivered a healthy boy, but he died suddenly. He was only a few months old.
For 15 years, I have been confined in this place.
So, there you go. Next, you're going to hear Concordia. And by all appearances, Concordia is about 500 and something cities around the world that the V's want to build. Now, they're telling humanity that these are going to be centers of progress and technology, and that they will be centers where the fallen angel V's will give humanity technology, which is exactly what happened in the Bible. And they'll give them free energy and clean water and all these things, right? But when you take a step back, now remember, this episode actually came out probably in 2011, long before anybody was talking about a 15-minute city, but yet you're going to hear what sounds like a 15-minute city. Watch.
Creating jobs and supporting prosperity across the world. Concordia will employ massive numbers of men and women. From your Roman mythology, meaning a peaceful and harmonious coexistence. Man and visitor working side by side to build thousands of these centers. Man and visitor. This is Concordia.
Whoa, wait, whoa, whoa, whoa. Did you see that?
Is Concordia.
Concordia. Interesting name.
For 15 years, I have been confined in this place.
Humans will be constructing the buildings, staffing the centers of learning and technology. We've made agreements with nations around the world.
For 15 years, I have been confined in this place.
So, Concordia is like a worldwide urban renewal project.
Exactly. To to build Concordia on land that is currently abandoned or in disrepair. I'll be hosting a gala tonight, here in New York, to formally announce Concordia.
For 15 years, I have been confined in this place. For 15 years, I have been confined in this place.
And tomorrow, a renaissance begins across the entire planet. We will celebrate our future, shared by mankind and visitors.
When newcomers arrive on your shores, you have to be careful.
Beware of Greeks bearing gifts?
Exactly. The Trojan horse filled with soldiers.
Concordia, with cutting-edge technology, dynamic learning opportunities, and real jobs in a harsh economy, is a home run for the visitors. We have clean air and revitalized deserts to prove it.
For 15 years, I have been confined in this place.
Smallpox infected blankets for the Native Americans. These gifts didn't work out too well for the recipients, did they?
But Anna has demonstrated the utility of her gifts.
And I'm sure the Native Americans were warm in their blankets before they started dying in them.
Concordia. Now, if you're still unconvinced, this is Ivanka Trump, who was born on the eve of Halloween at a Concordia summit. What is the summit? Well, I had to look this up because I didn't know what it was, and one of you sent me this information. You're like, Casey, Ivanka Trump speaks at a Concordia summit every single year. And I was like, oh, let's look into this. It can't be connected to the Concordia 15-minute cities that are going on in the V series. But absolutely, it probably is. Now, I will admit, this may be a bit more of a loose connection, other than the name obviously is the same. But what is Concordia? Well, let's read out of Wikipedia what it is. It's best known for its annual summit in New York, which is a global affairs forum. This is globalism. This is why the globe is in front of Trump International Hotel. This is what he really wants to do, is turn us into one world order. And it promotes partnering between governments, that's another globalism, businesses, and nonprofits to address the world's most pressing needs. So she speaks there frequently, and she's actually, let's see, what is she? I think she's the chairperson. Let's see here. Advisor to the president of the White House at Concordia. Okay. So she's like, was the connection to the White House. She was there this year. Here's the Concordia forum here. Look at the carpet. Look at the carpet. Looks like twisted DNA, doesn't it? Wow. And I found these images. This is from a screenshot from the V series, and there you see Concordia with this serpentine green serpent poking through the purple, which is red and blue mixed together. So that's red and blue bloods mixed together by way of the serpent with the mark of the V. And that looks a lot like this. I'm going to flip back and forth. Just wow. Strange times, you guys. Strange times. Here's another image. This was from a few years ago, I believe. This is the Concordia Summit. You see all the rings above, the red rings in the ceiling there. Wow. So, let's see, is that it? Is that the end?
Once the cloaked ship's set down, the next phase of the invasion may begin.
So they realize that these 15-minute cities, Concordia, are really designed as landing sites for the invading ships that are sitting out in space. And that as soon as the cities are complete, all the ships will land, pick up all the women, and impregnate them with the serpent.
Then our soldiers can collect their women and prepare them for what's to come.
The landing function is interwoven into the building's infrastructure.
And what if, literally, that's what these 15-minute cities are? What if they are the landing sites for whatever future alien invasion they will say happens? And they'll have everybody in one spot. And maybe this is the entire goal of all of this.
The humans think they're building their future, when in fact, they're digging their own graves.
They're digging their own graves.
Just unbelievable. Now, this is not meant to put you in fear. This is meant to snap you out of it, to not give your consent to their agenda. We all know where we're going, right? We know, because we're going to be with Jesus in the new heaven and the new earth. We don't have to worry. But do you want to be part of this agenda? Do you want to give in and go, oh, Trump's 15-minute city is better because it's a freedom city? Right? Trump is going for 15-minute cities. His 15-minute cities are the freedom cities. There's, just like he had his own health care. He didn't do away with national health care. He just created his own version of it. You've got to wake up. You've got to wake up. They give you the apple or the orange, and you choose one and you choose wrong. If you're still defending a person that I just showed you was clearly depicted in the exact scenario, the mass vaccinations, the I don't even know what to say. There's still some people that are asleep. I don't even know what to say. It's so frustrating, you guys. It's so frustrating to still see people defending him. And of course, Biden is no better. But Biden's already serving his agenda. It's clear, the electrification of America. There's not much to report on him because it's in your face. The doing away with fossil fuels, which is the freedom fuel. They're doing away with that to control people, to put us in the 15-minute cities. But if you're still choosing, oh, I'll just go to a freedom city instead, you're still choosing wrong. These will be the places where they reveal, okay, Jesus is going to be coming in the clouds. Well, guess what they're going to do? They're going to do a fake version of that. How are they going to do it? Well, when everyone's in a 15-minute city, they'll just project a hologram above the 15-minute city. And any outliers that are outside the 15-minute city, no one's going to believe them when they say, hey, I just saw a big projector pointing up in the sky from outside the 15-minute city. You guys are all being tricked. Nobody's going to believe them. Why? Because the electric kingdom will have already been set up to fully censor any information getting out on the internet in real time. So no one's going to know the truth. We're literally going to be in a 15-minute echo chamber of lies. We can't let this happen. Well, it's probably going to happen. And there will be an encampment of the saints. But we all know where we're going. So, I hope this is making sense to some people and finally getting through. There's no way they could have predictively programmed this down to the exact detail of the doorsteps of his hotel and the healing centers and all the nonsense on cue about the med beds. There's no way, unless it was already a plan, and what we're witnessing is this magic. Some people call it Enochian magic. Some people call it sorcery. Whatever it is, for some reason, they're required by spiritual law to show us the truth before they do it in fiction. It may be, and we've talked about this before, it may be that when they fictionalize the truth, it's not believed. That could be the play here. They could be showing us in fiction so that when we go, hey, this is what's really happening, people go, no, you saw that in a movie 10 years ago. They don't even make the connection. Like, how could you have that have been so exact, though? They're missing the main central question that debunks dismissing something just because it was in fiction, which is the exact nature of how things are playing out. It's so exact, it hurts sometimes. And this is why I'm so meticulous, and this is why we did a 6-part series on V, because there was so much information in it. Reptilians with human skin cloned over the top of them. All right, let's go into the chat, you guys. I know this was a crazy show today, but we needed a little bit of tough talk. All right, what is going on with you guys? What is the dealio? Yeah, sadly, they will not listen. All right. I appreciate you guys too. 15-minute gulags. We should never forsake our land that God gave Adam to live and roam freely off of the resources of our land, taking animals and plants without being forced into an economic system. We should never, ever forsake that. And anyone telling you to go into a city is flat out wrong. I don't care if it's a freedom city or a left-wing 15-minute city. To me, they're all the same. And every agenda against that is exactly that. It's a satanic agenda. Anyone telling you it's cruel to eat an animal and then they go and buy the ground beef out of the store is of the satanic agenda. Anyone telling you our planet cannot sustain you going out and growing food, whatever, is part of the satanic agenda. Yeah, please hit the like button, you guys. Now, when we started the show, YouTube had erased the thumbnail. Now, that happens every once in a while. But the thumbnail is so powerful because it is the book that Trump named as his favorite book. And I showed it from a screenshot from a reptilian movie about mass vaccinations and the father of the vaccine. So it's pretty powerful, isn't it? Unless you have timnesia. Unless you're in some kind of denial about the things that you're seeing. So they do these little things. They won't flat out censor us because they know as soon as they start taking down videos looking at fictional things, right? Because I've never said anything about anything that's happening right now. This is all fiction, right? Fiction. The minute that they start doing that, then they're admitting that they depicted it in their fiction, correct? So they won't do that. But what they'll do is electronic sabotage. So they'll do little things like pull down very profound thumbnails. Or they'll shut off the internet a particular day, just randomly, right as I'm doing my show, right? Never the rest of the day, internet never goes out, but all of a sudden, zap, gone. They do these little electronic sabotages to try to frustrate us, or they'll sabotage the thumbs up so that it looks as though people aren't watching the videos, or they'll sabotage the view count. I don't know if you guys have been noticing, but after we do our shows, you'll see 200 thumbs up, but you only see like 150 views. And you're like, wait a minute, there were almost 1,000 people in the chat. How are there only 150 views on this video when all of us just showed up to the live show? And this is recent activity. It's called electronic sabotage. And it's the algorithms, it's the matrix that does this. As they see certain people beginning to close in on the truth. And they realize that you can't just censor somebody unless that person is crossing the lines that they've set. The minute they censor you when you haven't crossed those lines, that is acknowledgement that what you're saying is resonating. And hopefully this all makes sense. And they're banking on the fact that people will succumb to timnesia. They're banking on the fact that people will revert back to, oh, that person, there's got to be a logical explanation for that. They're banking on the fact that you'll fall back into that pattern and paradigm and dismiss the information as false. Or dismiss the information as a stretch. So it's this fine line that we're riding here. And it's somewhat stressful. You know, finding this information, presenting these things without crossing the lines. But as I've told you guys, it's a labor of love. And a promise that I made to the Most High to do this as long as possible. So, you guys have any questions for me before we get off of here? I do believe that Trump is the white horse. We had the White Horse Yukon Hotel, brothel. We have the White Horse Salon and Spa at the Trump Golf Course. We had the White Horse Trump card in the movie I Am Legend. It was opened up to the bookmark of the winter solstice. We have the White Horse carrying a toxin with a bow, a ribbon, which some say could be the DNA ribbon, some say it could be all kinds of things, and a crown, a corona, riding on a white horse, which in fact is the XIX tarot card, the 19th tarot card of the sun, has a baby with a crown riding on a white horse in front of a brick wall. Look it up. It's all there, you guys. All right. What else is going on? Great questions, you guys. Oh, by the way, that White Horse Yukon was where I think his grandmother ran that. The one that died on 666. Mary Christ Trump, I think her name was. All right. All right, you guys. Well, I guess I'll pop off here. I'm going to get back to editing. And I'll type up my show notes for tomorrow. And I'll see you guys in the morning. I love you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.